in go-karts, mongooses, mopeds with broke parts. Poor niggas coming up in the crack game. Some niggas probably thank the Lord that crack came. But look how it destroyed like a hurricane. Too many niggas got involved, it's a black thing. Now look at Karen, sharing that glass dick. She used to smoke good green and snort white bitch. Now she sucking black dick for a cheap head. The whole city turned up, new jack shit. We busted plenty licks out by the corner store. Was pouring broke, but I ain't broke no more. I'm drinking 40s with the fiends and the wino. I'm the motherfucking lost nigga Bomino. A lot of boys couldn't make it in that Trill era. A lot of y'all would've starved in that Trill era. Ask yourself, could you survive in that Trill era? I thank the Lord that I'm alive in this new era. A lot of boys couldn't make it in that Trill era. A lot of y'all would've starved in that Trill era. Ask yourself, could you survive in that Trill era? I thank the Lord that I'm alive in this new era. Every nigga, every nigga, every nigga, every nigga that I knew sold cocaine. I knew boys who quit school for the dope game. Uneducated thousandaires with a piece and chain and a Cadillac sitting on swing. Hood stars, couple cars, and the latest J's. Every day a new pair, different colorways. Young niggas getting paid in a major way. All it took was big nuts and a brick brigade. Crowdfunding on them birds brought flocks and herds. Now we all got the shits and I ain't talking birds. Cold words from the clips from Zimbabwe. If you niggas pack a nigga, fuck our way. You at the bottom of the map next to the water. Everything on that vessel, nigga, place your order. Far enough from overseas, got plenty work. Fake fees, fake permits, the shit work. A lot of boys couldn't make. Y'all know what it's hitting for, man. That's my little intro music I wanted to play. It's the Trill Cast. We back at you, man. We had a big Trill King's Feast earlier, and I told y'all to come on back because we got something special. We got something special that we're gonna have to put on the grill. Now, this is a little different, you know what I mean? This is truly different. But I wanted to do this because I want the individual to feel the virtual embrace. I want the individual to feel the love that I get. You know what I mean? And it's a reason for that. How many of y'all paid attention to that thumbnail? How many of y'all actually paid attention to that thumbnail? You can raise your hand or say something or do something. And hit that thumbs up for me. Yeah, Karina, already. Okay. We got Jesus Trevino. I normally get a three-piece. But you know why they say God bless you when you sneeze, right? Because they say your heart skip a beat. I don't know how true that is. Thank you. Yeah, Jesus Trevino, Krista Pro. Oh, okay, welcome back. Josh Gator, Fold 9, what it is, you know what I mean? And Karina. No reception, cedar fever, your heart skips. Yeah, that's what they say. They say your heart skip a beat. But we're about to get into is a story. It's a story about a young lady that I learned about a few years back. And I'm going to give her the platform to tell her story and interact with her. She and I were supposed to wind up on, I believe it was Maury Povich. They wanted the story. They offered us pretty much like a round trip situation for, I think, let me see, 1, 2, 3, for about 6 of us to fly out and do the show. They was gonna room us and board us, and I think they also said they were gonna put a little something in our pocket. I don't remember, but when it came down to it, we needed a couple more participants who were the main participants. But when it came down to it, they felt they didn't want to do it. Me, why not? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna have her call in, and we're gonna get into it.
It is what it is. But again, how many of y'all seen that thumbnail? Like, really looked at that thumbnail? And if you did, what did you see when you saw that thumbnail? You know what I mean? That's the question I ask. What did you see when you saw that thumbnail? Because we're going to get into it. But yeah, man, earlier, I enjoyed a plethora of seafood, man, and champagne. I was washing away the bullshit. I was washing away the bullshit. You know what I mean? Boys that presented me with some class A bullshit. But you know what? It's nothing for a boss and nothing to a king. But yeah, so I enjoyed me some lobster tails and crawfish and shrimp and sausage, corn and potatoes and snow crab. And I had me an old bottle of champagne, man. I washed it down with some richer than I ever been Ballet Rose from old Rick Ross. It was okay. That go when I had it before was a little bitter, but it was good. It was good. Let me see. Next time, boom, boom, I call in, I pray. Hey, when you call in, baby, be yourself. Be yourself. I see a mama, a lady, and a trill little boy. Okay. Mm-hmm. You see a mama, a lady, and a trill little boy. Do you think that any of those three people favor? You know what I mean? Do you think that any of those three people in that picture have similarities? Do you think that the three people in that thumbnail do they favor each other? Let me see. The two women look similar. The two women look similar. Marcus Payne, what it is. Okay, yeah. The two women does look similar. What about the little boy? What about the little boy? Let me see. The boy got the bottom half of the face. I think that's accurate. He looked like the two women. I think that's accurate. And looking at that beautiful soup from Jesus Trevino, you know what I mean? I appreciate that $5, man. I appreciate that $5, man. That's beautiful soup. Yeah, so the two women look similar, and the little boy kind of favor the two women. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, and we got Josh Gator says mother, daughter, and a son. Mother, daughter, and a son. Okay, it's time to get into it. It's time to get into it. We're going to the right place. We're going to the right place. It's time to get into it. Okay. We're going to get started. Yeah, y'all on the right path. Y'all on the right path. Josh Gator, he said mother, daughter, and a son. Who else seen that thumbnail? Who else seen that thumbnail? And tell me what you see. Or tell me what you saw. You know what I mean? I know what I see. But we're going to have to get into it. I was contacted maybe a few years back about a situation that I knew nothing about. But once we dug into it, seemed pretty close to home. You know what I mean? But as soon as she called in, we're gonna get into it. And like I said, we were supposed to go to Maury Povich with this whole thing. But we wound up at the Trillgear.biz. Somebody called Maury and told me I still need my ticket, man. Nah. We finna get it popping, man. You know what I mean? But somebody didn't want to go. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, scared of the flight. I don't know what it was. But when it came down to it, it was a renege. Yeah. But who we got in here on the Trillgear.biz? Let me see. Yeah. Okay, Marcus Payne. Plucked up. Yeah. Yeah. So the story, you know what I mean? I'm ready to get off into it. I don't know if she's shy about it, but don't be shy, baby. Let's just get into it and we gonna move forward. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to reveal too much. I want to let her do it. That's what I'm talking about. I want to let her do it. And then I'll do what I do from there. But yeah, man, it was a glorious day today, man. I was able to get out there at the frostbit level of the game and get some paper and get on all of that shit. When I first got out there, my motherfucking ears was frostbit. Okay, we got a call. We're gonna get into it, folks. Hello.
Hello.
What's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. You all
I
right?
have phone issues.
You all right?
I'm fine. And yourself?
I'm good. You don't have to use your real name, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You can be whoever you want to be. But what I'd like you to know is we on live on what I call the Trillgear.biz. It's my
Okay.
YouTube live that I do.
Okay.
And feel free to tell any of your family members or friends to tune in and take a seat and enjoy the ride.
Okay.
The floor is yours. Let's hear about your story.
Well, my story from a kid, I always wanted to know who my father was. It was just like that was I don't know, something I just always fought with not knowing who my biological father was. I was told by mom, well, I was told by my mom that another guy, was my dad, which he also told me that he was my father. So for years, I knew this man as my father. But it's just like I just always felt like something wasn't right the way the family members would treat me and stuff. So, when I was around 5 years old, that's when my mama came back out and she was like, "Well, I have something to tell you. That's not your dad. Your real dad name is Earnest." So from the age of 5 all the way up to the age of 19, when I moved to Port Arthur, Texas, I've been searching for my dad. Come to find out, learned when I made 19 and moved here, I ended up finding out that he had passed away. So I never got the chance to meet him. So like that's like that. It hurts or whatever. So that's when I ran into one of your family members, and they told me about you and told me that was your brother. That's when I reached out to you.
You remember what year that was?
No, I don't. Maybe like 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I got the information, I was I was surprised, and we talked, and we went down through there, and I felt like there was some real familiarity with your face. I always told you look like my mother and my brother combined.
All right.
And we tried to put the ball in motion, and I don't know why, but the type of person I am, I contacted, or who contacted Maury?
I don't. I think you did. Did you?
Did I do that?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so I contacted Maury Povich, and I told him the situation. And they called me back immediately, and they were like, we want to air that story, and we want to do the DNA testing on our show.
Right. I remember that.
They were willing to fly out, I think 6 of us maybe.
Mm-hmm.
They were willing to room and board us and put a little paper in our pocket.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was underway, but we really needed one person to comply, but we needed one other person to go along with it, so the other person to be like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Right.
When it came down to it, the most major component that we needed agreed,
Mm-hmm.
but then somebody else talked her out of it. And then unfortunately, the main component wound up passing away.
Right.
So I think,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a lot. I'm nervous. Like my story is deeper than that. Cause like I said, it's just a hurt I've been dealing with for so long. As a kid, you know, you always want to know who your father is, who your parents are, and it's just like I said, I've been searching for my dad for so long. You know, it's man. And like when you sent me the picture and I seen him, I was like, oh my God, I finally found him. Like that's my dad. I look just like this man. I was like, my search is over. Like, whew.
so at one point you were in Port Arthur and you were looking for him, but then you found the conversation that he had died.
Yes.
Do you know like how long he had been dead before you ran up on that conversation?
The way they were saying, like he was, like I was 19 when I heard this conversation about him dying. But the way they was talking, like he had been passed.
Let me see.
But after talking to you, I discovered that he passed that year. That I moved to Port Arthur.
Dang. Yeah, because I believe it was like 13 years ago, and because my daughter was like 1, and the day he died, she was in the truck with him, sitting next to him. There's actually a picture that I think my mom took or something of my baby kind of just in her car seat looking up at him, you know, from the side. And he was sitting there quietly. And she was near 1. She's 14 now. So that's how I know it's about 13 years ago. And the day he died, my mother had brought him to my house for me to tell him to go to the hospital because he wasn't feeling well. And me being his little brother, sometimes he'd listen to my gestures or whatever because he respected me a lot. But that day, I didn't even know how serious the situation was. And he and I kind of clowned the way we used to clown. And he wouldn't say much. Like all his gestures was and huh. And he seemed like he was like hiding. He was really in excruciating pain. But at the end of the conversation, I had to rush to Houston to catch a plane. And I told my mama and him, because when you leave my house, I lived on 9th Avenue. across 25th Street. So when you actually leave my house on 9th Avenue and make a left, you're gonna go down a block and a half. When you go down that block and a half, the hospital is right there on the right.
Yeah.
But she said he wouldn't go to the hospital. So when he wouldn't go to the hospital, she continued to take him home. And when she took him home, he got out and he walked about 10 steps into his yard. And then he started kind of like spinning around and falling. And so he'd get up, trying to, I'll stop if you want me to.
No, you're fine.
So he spun around and got up. And as he was staggering, my mama went on and got out the truck to try to go see, what was up with him. And the second time he fell, she was standing by him and he fell on her. So when he fell on her, she fell also. And she caught him in her arms. And she was looking down at him and he was looking up at her. And she was asking him like, baby, what's wrong? Let's get an ambulance, this and that. And he looked up at her and took his last breath.
It was crazy because even as a child, like I just always felt like in my heart, like my daddy needed me and I needed him. And like it was just, I don't know. It's like for some reason, even as a kid, it's just like I just had to find him. Like I just always felt that. And like I said, I just never gave up searching, but like I said, I always just felt that. Like my daddy needed me, like, but most of all, I needed him too. And just learning everything now, like what he went through is like, it's just making everything clear to me.
I didn't understand his life. I always wept for him because he always was in pain. He always was going through situations that caused him to harm himself or get harmed. He always was in a traumatic situation. Personally, deep down, he was a very kind and humble and quiet, courteous person. You wouldn't even know.
Let me ask you a question. Do you remember when you sent me the picture of my dad? You remember what I told you? And that was before even learning all of this stuff. Because I honestly just learned all this stuff about him tonight. But when you sent me that picture, do you remember what I told you about him?
I think you said something about a comparison to him and your son.
No. I said, man, I wish I knew my dad. So I would love the heck out of my dad.
He needed it. He needed it. He had some issues. He didn't care about himself much. He was depressed a lot, and he used to self-medicate a lot. And we were really close. Our birthdays were a day apart, and my mother began to have our birthday parties on the same day. But it came a time where I had to beg her, please don't do that no more. This nigga is ruining my life. You know what I mean? He was funny than a motherfucker. Like he was he was so silly. He was a different person, man. He was very brave. He was very courageous. He was very explosive. You couldn't put a finger on what the hell he was about to do next. But he also had a twin when he born.
I also had a twin when I was born.
Come on, man. But his twin didn't make it.
Wow, same situation. I had a twin when I was born, but my twin didn't make it.
Come on, man. That's crazy, dog. So what I'm gonna do, whatever you want to speak about tonight, you can speak about it. And what I'm gonna do, I only can be a liaison for the situation because in this case, I'm a half breed because we got different daddies. but he does have two other siblings that he shared a dad with, and his actual dad is still alive. So I'm gonna make sure that I connect the dots. You know what I mean? Even more this time, so we can get some clarity on the situation, and then you could have your closure.
Yeah, I definitely need closure.
The closure will become an opening.
Yeah.
But yeah, that picture of my mother, you, and him that I used for the thumbnail, I put it up and asked people just to say what they see. They had no clue what they were looking at. But I'll tell you what I see. I see relatives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a pretty good person. I can see strangers that's not even standing together in the same area, and I could pick out who related. I can pick out, oh, that's your brother, or that's your sister. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
some reason, I'm really good at spotting that. But definitely this time around, I want to make sure we do the proper procedure to get some testing going and give you, you know what I mean, that closure and that opening at the same time.
Right. Well, I appreciate you for everything.
Yeah, I try to do what I does. I like to call myself a trill ass nigga.
For that.
And you know what? What's gonna be a great thing
What's that?
when you get the results back. You can say, "Y'all know that nigga? He's a Leo. That's my motherfucking uncle."
Look, I'm already claiming you in these streets.
You already claiming me.
I'm already claiming you.
In Jesus' name. You feel it. It probably is what it is. It probably is what it is. I love to have another niece. Cause I think me and you gonna communicate more.
Yeah.
You know, I think we got some things in common. I think we're brave. I think we're courageous for you to even come on here and speak of your story. But let me ask you this. So would you say at 5 you discovered that your dad, who was standing in as your dad, wasn't your dad? Did he also tell you then, or did he tell you later?
No. And that's another thing that hurt like heck, because it's like at one point I was like, okay, mom, like you keep telling me Ernest is my dad. I don't know who Ernest is, but this man is stepping in. I'm like, nah, this is my dad. But like I said, this a guy. He will come in every summer and pick up me and my little brother. And spend time with us. But like I said, every time I spent time with them, it was like something was just always off. I didn't feel right. Like it's like I seen the difference the way they would treat him, and the way they would treat me, like it was just totally different. So it hurt more because he waited until I was 30 years old to come out and say, well, Brittany, like I always knew you wasn't my daughter, but I'm just like, wow.
Salute to him. Salute to him. Because it sounded like he did apply himself to be somewhat of a father or your father.
But the thing about it is, he cut me off after 30 after I found out.
Okay. Yeah, that ain't a good feeling.
Yeah.
Once everything, solidifies itself, I'm gonna introduce you to my daughter, and you'll see like there's no turning off when you got daughters.
Yeah.
When your daughter call, you pick up the phone. Daddies are owned by daughters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just in the book.
Yep.
But I really believe like if he would have known, my brother, if he would have known he had a child, his life would have been totally different. He thought he had a son, and his son would be rather older now. But the mother always proclaimed that he was not the father. She named the child after him, but she said that it wasn't his. That tugged away at him a lot also. And I don't know whatever else the torment was, but he just always was tormented. And we all were young alcohol abusers at a young age. We drank every day and we partied and we hung in the streets, getting into trouble and shit. And he wound up going to prison. He did about 8, 9 years in prison. And then when he got out, I thought things were gonna be totally different. By the time he got out, I was in Port Arthur doing a whole bunch of great things, and I really needed him. And throughout our visitations, he was telling me he was coming to join me, and I bought him a truck and all kind of stuff. And by the time he got out and he came and seen that I was really grinding like a mug, he gave me the truck back, and he was like, "On them pictures, nigga, it didn't look like you was doing this here. It looked like you was just balling and shining." I say, "Nigga, it take hard work, you know what I mean, to be looking like that." But he actually gave me the truck back and told me, "Find you some more help, because I ain't the one."
I wish I just had a little bit more time.
His dad's still alive?
I know. I can't wait to meet him. I actually spoke with your brother tonight, and we had a
Okay.
long conversation, and he was just like super excited when I
Okay.
showed him the picture of my dad, and I'm claiming my dad.
Okay.
My dad and my son, he was so excited, like he just bust out into tears.
Wow.
Yeah, he couldn't stop crying for like 30 minutes.
Oh man. Yeah, because they were very close. They're my older brothers. And like I say, they got the same dad and same mama. We all was raised in the same house, but you know, they more closer in age, so they always was like together doing things. But he was also like a how could I say? He just was an energy drawing motherfucker, you know what I mean? Like he'll pull all your goddamn energy out.
That's me. That's me all day.
Like you love him so much, you try to do all you can, but it just get to a point where like, man, you want to jump in the trash. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I remember I remember a time me, him, and my other brother, we had gotten some shit. And it was almost like, okay, it's time to go to war, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so just automatically we were used to just telling each other, "Hey man, it's going down over here. Come on, let's go do this here." And then we just without question would just follow suit on it. And so one day, my older brother, I was like, "Man, Ray, that's his middle name. Man, Ray down there getting in this here shit, man. Come on, man, let's go down there and take care of business." And I took off like thinking me and my other brother was going to save him, right? I looked back, my other brother was like, "Man, fuck this." I turn around, I say, "Man, come on, big bro, man, we got to go save this nigga, man." He like, "Man, fuck that shit. I'm tired of this shit. I got some hoes coming over, man. Y'all niggas, he said, what he say? Man, y'all niggas probably need to leave that shit alone." And he went on by that business. And I went down there, man, and when I went down there, crazy man was, oh my God. That's the part I can't talk about. I'll tell you one day in private. You know what I mean?
I got you.
I'm gonna tell you so much shit in private. You're gonna be like, "Man, stop." You making that shit up.
It definitely made my night. And man, like I said, for years, Lord have mercy, the stuff I've been through over the years, just dealing with this. Like I said, everything God is, I'm still nervous.
Well, you know, you turned out to be a strong young lady, and you're taking care of your business. So I want to help you, you know what I mean, get the answer to it. So whatever we're gonna be able to do and have to do this year, we just gonna do it.
Okay.
You know, if it was up to me, I'd take some of my blood right now
And go, huh?
and put it in a little Ziploc bag and shoot it to you and say, test that. But it ain't my blood that's gonna be able to do it. You gotta get some of that other blood. You know what I mean? You gotta get some of the blood of Jesus. Now you gotta get that. You gotta get that same mama, same daddy, and that's gonna give you a determination.
Well, your brother's on board, so I think we're gonna do it this time. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm just ready to find out.
Okay. So will you come back and we do a part 2 once we find out?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I thank you for being so brave. I'm gonna continue hollering at my people and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you so much for everything.
No problem. Yeah, Trillgear.biz. That's the fish we got in the grease. That's what we got on the table. Yeah, so you know when it was brought to me, you know what I mean, I wasn't tripping. I wasn't tripping at all because when I looked at the pictures and I heard the stories, I say this might be what that is. But one of the most saddest things that I know she probably, you know, needed to fill that void. But at the same time, she needed him, like she said. He really needed her. His life would have been totally different if he would have had another human being to be responsible for outside of himself. Because for some reason, he didn't care much about himself. It was times when we were younger and poor and broke, and my mama ain't had enough school clothes money. And he'd say, buy the 2 younger ones clothes. Don't worry about me. You know what I mean? And that broke my heart as a child. That he was in middle school. He was being looked at the most. But he told her straight business. Dress them 2 little young ones up. I'll wear whatever I got. And I say, nigga, they're different. That nigga, they're different. That's one nigga in life, I got to tell you. He done some crazy shit. But that nigga had my back, man. That nigga would have done anything for me, regardless of what it was. That's just how he rocked. It could be 10, 15, 20 niggas. He gonna be like, grab something, let's go. Let's go handle this. Nigga, you ain't Bruce Lee, and I ain't Bruce Lee. Fuck, we look like going in there. Man, you better sit your ass down somewhere and wait till we get, you know what I mean, some reinforcements. But he was just like that. I miss my brother, man. Boy, I tell you, that nigga used to. My mama started throwing my birthday and his birthday together once I got a little of age. And boy, every time that nigga would ruin my birthday, boy, that nigga would have some bullshit going on. I'm talking about police, this and that, this and that. I'm talking about anything you could name. Nigga, I could be having a nice party with him and that nigga bring some people off the streets who look like jackals. You know what I mean? Like motherfuckers who should not be in our house. And and I got on my good clothes, you know what I mean, trying to have a good time, and I'm looking at this. Basically, the nigga that bought some dope fiends to the motherfucking party, man. And I'm trying to be clean and nice and shit, you know what I mean? And I got to damn near come out my dungaree, bitch, hey, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, we're going to get to the bottom of it this time. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, Trillcast. It's your boy, Hezeleo. I don't know what to call this one, but there will be a part 2. So, y'all stay tuned. And I'm thinking that it is what it is. I'm thinking she is who she is. But we will see. You know what I mean? I'll be back at y'all soon. It's your boy, Hezeleo. I'm out.